ServiceNow is basically a tool where most of the people are using it as a ticketing platform, right? So why ticketing platform? When I am saying it's a ticketing platform, that means everything in any of the area there is some concern or there is some issue that should be assigned as a ticket to that individual team or appropriate team who is taking care of or the owner of that particular area. Let's give an example here. Let's say there is some threat that has been detected in a in some of the servers. Threat when there is something privacy breach or say some malware or maybe something unauthorized person is trying to access a server, something is happening. How do you know about it, or how do a ticket is getting created and is getting assigned to the appropriate team to take some action on it? That's again something has to be thought about, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so this is something thought about. But when
Okay.
you thought about this type of situation, definitely it is not monitoring. Monitoring or the alerting that you are saying. Alerting is happening here, but it's not a
Okay.
third-party alerting, which is like a SolarWind or a Nagios or anything. Because all these tools that you talked about, these are the event management tools.
Okay.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
understand. Let's categorize. Okay. So if I go by the areas that you have specified, let me mention them as the event management tools.
Okay.
What is an event?
Any occurrence, I want to say any
Any
occurrence of
example?
something.
Give me an example. Give me an example. It will be easy for us to.
For in the sense of service now, event means suppose if I move any ticket, any activity has been done, any approval has been sent. So in that
No,
sense,
no, no, no,
anything.
no, 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 no.
Okay.
What you're saying, that's not events. Okay. Let's
Okay.
understand what is the event. Event
Okay.
is something, let's say, CPU utilization is high.
Okay.
Where it is high? In a server or maybe
Okay.
something in a data center.
Okay.
Okay, so if you look at here, mostly we have the servers or different components of the servers
Okay.
in a DC.
Okay.
This is data center.
Okay.
Okay, so in a data center, multiple servers will be there and multiple other
Yeah.
components like the network devices, switches, routers, maybe multiple different things will be there. Okay,
Okay.
if a simple thing is at any point of time the server is not accessible, that means there is a business loss.
Yeah.
Maybe it may not be a primary server, it may be a secondary server, or many things will be there. So in that case, it's a business loss and company cannot bear it. That's the reason it has to be constantly monitored the availability of the server and all the other components available in a DC. In
Okay.
that case, we have to deploy different solutions for it. Those solutions are called monitoring solutions.
Okay.
Okay. So to
Yep.
name few tools which is the market leaders in this area, if I talk about different monitoring solutions, then number one is Nagios. Why? Because it has a free version also available. That's the reason most of the people are using Nagios. Then SolarWind. SolarWind is pretty expensive as compared to the other
Okay.
things. And also we have different other tools, like sometimes we are using something called Netcool, and there are many multiple. Okay, these are the market leaders in this area.
Okay. Okay.
But understand one thing. Maybe this is again a question. I'm asking you questions so that you will understand that
Yeah. Yeah.
where you are standing, and I
Yeah. Yeah.
can also rectify you. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
because it's very
Definitely.
important for me to rectify if anything is incorrectly fitted in your the knowledge base. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the question here is, do ServiceNow has a monitoring tool or do ServiceNow has a event management tool?
Yeah, there is a event management module we use. So with the help of that one, we integrate with these monitoring solutions like SolarWind and NetCalls. So with the help of that, we just get the alerts and we just create the incident tickets and whatever the tickets we in service now.
No, no, understand my question. Your answer is correct, absolutely correct. There is no doubt about it. But my
Okay.
question is, does ServiceNow has a event management tool?
Okay. So yes.
See, ServiceNow do not have a event management tool like this, which can
Okay.
be deployed in the data center.
Okay.
What we have is a event management module.
Okay.
Got it? The difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Difference here is ServiceNow can use, or any of these tools can be used so that they will capture and they will be forwarding those data to the ServiceNow. But ServiceNow do not have something that can be deployed on the client data center, which will be sending it to here. There is nothing like that.
Okay.
Okay, so ServiceNow do
Okay.
not provide monitoring solutions. These are all monitoring solutions or monitoring tools. Okay, that's why I
Okay.
made it here monitoring solutions or monitoring tools. ServiceNow do not have a monitoring solution.
Okay.
So what it has a event management module which can capture the different alerts. In fact, it's not alerts, it's events. Alerts is different. Event and alert both are different. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm going to talk about that in detail. What is the
Okay.
difference between these two? Okay, so
Okay.
what it is going to capture? It's going to capture only the events generated by these monitoring tools.
Okay.
Now there is a question again. The question here is, and this question is not for you. This question in a generic sense, that how do ServiceNow will connect with this particular tool? It's a
Yep.
integration is one way. Integration is one part, but it's not only about integration. It's
Okay.
something else apart from it. Why I'm saying there is something else? Because though these monitoring solutions or monitoring which is deployed in the data center, they are going to find how this is going, means what are the events that has been generated. There should be a communication medium, or there should be a communication channel between the data center and our ServiceNow instance, which is hosted in a different data center, and it's again a cloud data center managed by ServiceNow, and it is hosted in 10 different, 20 different locations, which is closest to us, we don't know, and client also somewhere maybe different area, and but that should be synchronized to here.
Okay.
So to manage that area, that all the things, we need a separate tool, a platform independent software that we need. That platform independent software is the mid server.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to show you diagrammatically and I'm going to talk about it in detail using the service now. Okay, so when you come into your service now, then you will find that let me log in. Yes, type here LDAP. When you come to the LDAP, there is the first option which is getting started. Just scroll a little down. I just want to showcase you this diagram. Have you
Okay.
ever seen this diagram before?
Yes. Yes. I've seen that one.
Okay. What do we understand by this? No doubt it's a LDAP integration. I'm going to come to that later stage, but let us understand how it is happening here. This is our ServiceNow cloud environment hosted
Okay.
somewhere. We don't know.
Okay.
There are many locations where it is hosted. And this is the customer environment. Okay. Let's
Mhm.
assume these two are different servers and all. Something's happening. There will be a area in between these two areas. That is the firewall. You can see this
Yes.
will be a firewall. Okay, so when I say this is a firewall, firewall is going to prevent you from uh, accessing any part of the system. because ServiceNow it doesn't understand what is ServiceNow. So it is going to restrict the access to the ServiceNow. So in that case, what we have to do is we have to come across or we have to breach the firewall which is available here. It's a firewall.
Okay.
That's the reason we need some software which is behind the firewall but is capable of communicating with our ServiceNow.
Okay.
In that case, this is again, if I go by the definition or by the to give you a understanding about what is the mid server, what I can tell over here is this is a Java program. It's a Java program.
Okay.
Or Java program we can say when we are in a Windows machine. Because again, we don't know what type of server it is. It can be a Windows server, it can be a Linux server, right?
Linux. Hmm.
Yes, anything is possible. So
Yeah.
that's why this mid server software, it can be a Java software which is compatible with the Windows. In that case, we call it a Java program. If it's a Windows machine, if it is a Linux machine, we call it as the daemon, Java daemon.
Okay.
Okay. So it's if it's a Linux machine, what does it do? We have to configure the mid server first before we plan our integration with any third party tool.
Okay.
And also, before you make the POC, you have to give a requirement specification document to the client, which states that what is the minimum configuration that you need to have it hosted in your DC.
Okay.
And there is a configuration document which is required. For example, what is the minimum RAM size, how much is the hard disk space required, whether it has to be connected with the internet or internet is feasible, or maybe some clients they will outrightly reject it, saying that no, we are not going to provide you the internet access. There are many challenges or many factors that we consider while giving a proposal to the client. And I'm going to give you a sample proposal as well, which is going to
Okay.
help you. Okay.
Okay.
So what I want to say here is this is the use of the mid server or how the mid server is going to be used in this situation or in the scenario. That's the how it fits. Now
Okay. I
let's
have
talk.
I have one
Please.
question.
Yeah, please,
I
please,
was just
please.
saying that suppose in the second diagram, that is the LDAP without mid server. So in without, suppose if a situation occur like I haven't prepared mid server, I simply integrate. So whether it will work or not for the second one, I'm into second diagram without mid server, as it is showing that uh, in the below one.
That's what I'm saying. That first we have to look at the feasibility study and
Okay.
client requirement.
Okay.
If it is a client, if it is a client, then you need a mid server.
Okay.
100% you need a mid server. But
Okay.
if you're doing it internally or maybe in for your organization only, maybe you don't need a mid server.
Okay.
Again, understand my word. What I said, you may not require a mid server. May
Okay.
because inside the organization also if it's a huge organization then maybe there is again a data privacy comes to picture and different again sub organizations will be there they may not be able to share their data with you so maybe you may or may not get an access directly to the data server. That's the reason maybe
Oh,
again you have to create a image server. So
okay.
but in internally it's optional but when it's a client it's mandatory.
Okay. Understand.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, again, LDAP, when we'll look at this aspect, but right now I don't want to switch between multiple areas. Just this
Okay.
diagram I wanted to refer for you.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going straight to the topics of the mid server, which is an essential part. And
Okay.
carefully understand this. This is going to be very much essential and helpful for you whenever you are planning for a integration. Any integration you plan, 90% time you will be considering mid server as an option. 90% of the time. Okay. Without it, it may not happen. Let's now understand the mid server. What is mid server and how, why it is very much essential and why we're talking about it. What the meaning of mid server? What does it stands for? Mid server stands for mid. Mostly people think mid means in the middle, but that's not true. Okay.
Okay.
So what is the full form of the mid? Mid stands for management, instrumentation, and discovery. Okay.
Okay.
That is the meaning of the mid. And second thing here is that why it is used. It is used by ServiceNow to communicate with the external systems. We are trying to integrate. When we are trying to integrate, that means we are trying to integrate with the external system. And when we are trying to integrate anything with the external system, that means we need some communication medium. And that communication medium is mid server.
Okay.
Now, let's take some example of the external system because I have used this word external system. That's the reason I'm taking it here. It can be a LDAP, it can be a discovery tool which can be integrated with ServiceNow, or it can be a event management tool, or it can. There are many other ways, other things as well. So all of them are going to use the
Mid server.
mid server. Correct.
Okay.
Now, look at the architecture of the mid server. This is again a very much important for you to understand.
Okay.
Look at this diagram. This diagram is going to tell you a lot of things. I'm going to take a use case here. This is a use case diagram actually.
Okay.
Let's talk about a complex organization, and that organization has a environment where there are Windows machines. Also, there is an environment which has hosted all the Linux devices, and there is one more instance which is in the cloud, and it also contains there are few other uh, different again components and all. In this
Okay.
case, how many mid servers should we deploy? That's the question here. Because, or you can think from this aspect also, there is again a huge company where there is a data center which is located in one area, and there is another data center which has been located in a separate area, and there is multiple other data centers which are hosted in different areas. So in that case, how are you going to plan it?
Okay. So in that situation, I think we have to just for each data center we have to just check the firewall. So we have to for each firewall we have to just set up and mid server so that we can just pass that particular one. I mean to say, suppose uh,
Mhm. Go ahead.
yeah,
I'm
I
listening.
suppose in the following picture found that there is a Windows server and then the Linux server and they're in the Azure clouds. So depending upon the firewall system, so we have to just create a mid server so that it just part the particular firewall so that they can communicate with the third party. Uh, so it,
True. True. What
okay,
you're understanding is correct. And the same thing has been represented here. You can say this is the firewall, and there is
okay,
a Windows side this side, and there is a Linux side this side, and as well as there is a cloud which is here, and we have the service now here. Okay.
okay,
Now
okay,
all these three areas are not interconnected because they are working as a independent areas. So in that
okay,
case, we have to deploy multiple mid servers.
okay,
One is this side, one is this side, and one is in the cloud. Because
okay,
until unless we do not have multiple mid servers, it won't be sending the data to us.
okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Now let's move on. Then I'm coming to what is mid server. So if I talk about the mid server definition, then it's a Java program that run as a Windows service or as a Linux daemon. That's what I told some time back. And it
Okay.
is installed behind the company's firewall. This is also something we have discussed. And fourth one is uh, multiple mid servers can be established or installed within a network. So this is the
Okay.
network that I was talking about. So multiple mid servers, which you can see 1, 2, and 3, which has been hosted here. Now, how does it communicate? This is something again I'm going to talk about the ServiceNow mid-server architecture, how it is communicating and all. It facilitates the data exchange. Communication is always initiated by the mid-server. Encrypted and source data exchange between the two different instances. Now, utilization by various applications within ServiceNow instance. This is where the event management module comes to picture and establish
Okay.
the communication between the ServiceNow instances and the corporate networks. That's what all that happens here.
Okay. So it is
Now
bi-directional communication or one-directional communication? I mean, so the
it
mid.
can be both. It can be both.
Okay.
Now let's talk about what are the different communications that is possible through it or how can we integrate with it. Okay, so various integrations that uses the mid server. If you look at, it contains a variety of integrations where a mid server can play a crucial part.
Okay.
If you look at the integrations which I have mentioned here, some of them are going to be tough integrations, some of them are mediocre, and there are few integrations which are little high in demand, or you can say in a higher level. If I bifurcate these integrations, you can look at this one, which is the ServiceNow single sign-on or SSO.
Okay.
Single sign is a pretty much simple, or not simple, what I can say is a pretty much direct, and this is something is widely used across the frame.
Okay.
Now, if I look at some integrations like this one, Altris integration, then in this case, we don't know what is Altris,
Yeah.
right? This is
Yeah.
something a new thing. Even Lendisk integration, these things are completely different because these are specialized things and we are not directly knowing about it. And if you look at the integrations, which is again, there are, I can share a use case with you, or I can share something, my personal experience with you. Sometimes we do not know what is the tool where to which we are going to integrate. We
Okay.
do not
That.
know because sometimes that's the requirement comes, right? We do not know that tool. So
Okay.
it's very difficult at that time to understand that tool and do the integration. In that case, it's tricky. In
Okay.
this is tricky. Definitely, it is tricky because we cannot learn that tool.
Yeah.
So maybe some engineer is been assigned to us. We don't know how much knowledge he has, and sometimes we are in terrible situation because we are the person who are responsible for it primarily. Uh, so in that case, what we are going to do is we have to understand which type of whether a mid server can be there and it can able to send the events to us or not. If that can be done, then we know that yes, we can take it forward from there. Just in that case, what I ask that engineer who is assigned from that tool is, can you send me a event from that tool?
Okay.
That's something I ask them. Okay. And primarily, I'm talking about event management tools in this section.
Okay.
But to clarify, mid-serve is not limited only to event management tools. Okay. Because you saw in
Okay.
LDAP also it's there. And
Yeah.
SCCM integration is not something like event management integration. It's again a patching and other activities keeps
Yeah.
on happening here. So in that, event discovery is again different. But everywhere mid-server is there because when you say integration, mid-server is there 90% time. Now let's talk about how the mid-server communication will happen. So the mid-server communication will happen uh, through there is few items here you can see the external communication channel queue, or you can say a ECC queue. Even you can refer the diagram which I shown you in the LDAP mid-server. There you also will find this ECC queue. ECC queue is a primary part or is a very important part of the mid-server communication. But ECC queue is where? ECC queue is in ServiceNow. It's not in mid-server. Okay.
Okay.
ECC queue, and it's like a airline check-in kiosk. Why I'm saying it's a airline check-in kiosk? Because first come first out. So check kiosk to see if there are any activities needed to be performed. Send the information back to the ECC queue if any other information is required. And ECC queue is an integration point between the other systems and the ServiceNow instance. Okay, so we can directly integrate from this service from ECC queue only. Now we have to make some notes here. The note here is ECC queue is a table in the ServiceNow, and ECC queue stores the messages entered through the other systems, and messages are classified as output messages and input messages. This is pretty simple because either it's receiving or it's sending. And if I talk about the next item, which is again AMB channel. AMB channel is part of the mid server. Okay. Now look at the when I say about the AMB channel, then uh, there when there is an entry in the ECC table, the mid server opens a persistent connection to the instance through the AMB. So what does mid server do? This is a communication medium between the mid server and the AMB channel. Now AMB stands for the asynchronous message bus, and polls that is going to happen in the ECC queue table for work that will be consumed through the AMB channel. So I'm going to tell you more about it. There is one more thing that you should be knowing here. So this is the diagram I'm going to come to
Okay.
here. Now let's understand what I'm talking about here. When you are planning for a integration, you are going to ask one question to yourself first, or to the tool engineer first, whether ServiceNow is going to fetch something from that external tool, or the external tool is going to send something to the ServiceNow. Okay, so the first one, if ServiceNow is trying to get something from that external tool, then it is called polling. You are trying to pull the information. Okay, but the second one is going to be a sending from the external tool. So external tool is capable of
Can you
sending
please
to
repeat
you.
it one more time? It will just why
Okay,
it's not
let me,
immediate coming to me.
yeah, some disturbance is happening, even I can also feel that. So let me write it here, it will be easy for you. Okay, so
Hello.
when we are planning for, yeah, can you hear me? Some disturbance is happening, I can see feel that one, but I don't know, now it's sorted. Yeah, still there. I don't know where it is.
Yeah. So,
Mm, I don't know from where this, not from my side at least. Okay, so let's continue. So let me talk about here. So when I'm talking about the
hello. Am I
integration,
audible?
you are audible, but some zip noise is coming. I don't know from where it's coming. Okay, I think it's cool now. No, when I start talking, it happens sometimes. Okay, uh, okay, finally, in when we are talking about a integration, okay, hello,
Yes, I can
Sumit.
hear you. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I can hear you.
I think you can go on mute because this is coming from your end only. Go on mute. If it's still coming, then that means it's something with me. Okay. But if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me anytime. So when I talk about the integration, I'm repeating that you have just now asked me. If I talk about a integration, it can happen through two parts. One is a polling, or second one is pushing. What does it mean by polling? Polling is ServiceNow is trying to pull the information from the external tool. Pushing is something external tool is pushing the data. So there are two possibilities. Now the same thing has been represented in this diagram. What are we doing here? We are doing the polling here. Because why we are doing polling here? Because ServiceNow, we can write some jobs or something. You can see this is the entry point, which is the mid server, and this is the ServiceNow instance. And mid server is installed both the locations. It's there in the ServiceNow. There is an entry, and there is also an entry in the client data, client side. Okay, what it is going to do here is the AMB client server. It is going to initiate something, then it will be going to our, again there are two directions. You can see AMB channel, mid server sysid. So this is the AMB channel. It will go, and from the AMB channel again it is going to come back to the AMB channel listener, or it can directly also can communicate with the AMB channel listener. And from here it's going to go to the mid polling frequency container, and from there it will come to the ECC queue